there you've got the windows, and you've got the sun being shone down by a big mirror outside. Next, well, this 20-mile long, 4-mile diameter version could house 10 million folk in comfort, a pair of them between them, so that's 10 million in each. In our solar system next,
The funny going over that bridge, you know, as Mark's pointed out, about the water
that's
being
an American idea, forget it.
but, right, if you built this thing and you crossed that bridge, you'd be going over there and the water would be above you, or appear to be above you, on each side. Yeah.
No, that's true.
In our solar system, as I said, but in reality, more like this next. Like this is reality for our solar system. And that is the right, approximately right, as best I could get it, distances between them. You'll notice that Earth is almost as far from Pluto as Pluto is from the Sun. Earth is a long way out. Planet 9 is probably even further out somewhere if Planet 9 exists. So we want a cylinder style like Island 1 next. Next, not built much shorter than Island 3 needs, but still a couple of revolving cylinders with mirrors to provide gravity and light. So the next question is, next. In October '69, a few months after Apollo 11, Neil asked the students in his seminar, is the planetary surface the right place for an expanded technological civilization? After several further months and a few years of further consideration, papers, conferences, and US government committee meetings, expressions of support, the L5 Society was formed and got branches set up in several countries, then got taken over by the US National Space Society, who held further conferences, published more papers, but did little else. Then the International Space Station got built. So our next question is simply, how do we get who to actually build and populate Island 1 with 10,000 folk to make space habitation feasible? And that's it, folks. I need your answers. There is one thing that you may find that occurred to me. Well, a couple of things that occurred to me as relevant. One, since all that, we've got the internet, which we didn't have in these days.
Oh, you got a copy of that as well?
And this is a second edition. You may have seen, some of you may have seen
That's the first I've seen it.
Space in Scotland. But in it, he's got lists of contacts for all the astronomy societies in Scotland. Plus one or two others,
Except ASTRA.
missing ASTRA and missing the Galilean Society and missing City Settlers. But almost everybody other than us is in here, and we've got all their contacts. So we can send them a copy of the YouTube, which Robert is going to be making of this talk, and say, if you're interested, get in touch. And we might be able to get a group around Scotland that could help us come up with ideas.
It was a science fiction film, Elysium. I didn't go to see it. Did you go to see it recently?
No.
In the film Elysium, it's probably available on DVD now, Blu-ray. It's some story about a space habitat, but it's all the rich people go.
It was on telly a few nights ago.
Was it on TV? Right? Go up to this space colony type thing, and the poor are left as usual behind in the polluted earth and all the rest of it. Now I don't know how in that story who pays, you know. I mean, Elon Musk wants to colonise Mars, okay? And the way that he would do it is he's going to have to depend on very wealthy people with loads of money who are willing to pay the money to go to Mars and set up. And I suppose when we look back at on the Earth, how in past, when people it went and settled in other continents. You know, like people left England to go because of religious discrimination. The Pilgrim Fathers, for example, they would have needed to get their own money and to go to America and set up a colony, you know. And so all these things in the past seems to be a lot of wealthy individuals.
But it wasn't wealthy individuals that colonised them. It was poor people. It was with America, the Spanish and Portuguese who went, it was like second sons of families, people who weren't going to inherit land in Spain and Portugal, who went to make a fortune in America.
Many years
also,
in
it
travel
didn't
business.
need the same investment. They had to build ships,
But you had to
but
pay
you
a
didn't
passage.
need to. Yeah, you had to.
Could I
get
point
passage,
out
right,
here,
but you
this is
didn't need
really-
the same investment at the other end to survive.
Having spent decades in the travel business, I can assure you that when any new travel route is planned to anywhere, always the first people who go there are the rich. Then the price comes down as more and more people go until nowadays. When I started with KLM in 1960, the only people who went to Spain were stinking millionaires. Nobody else could afford to fly.
Yeah, but rich people
But
would go
now
into
everybody
space.
flies to Spain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
point is,
principle
Andy,
of
are the
public-
rich
yeah.
people that go into space initially, or the rich tourists who go into space initially, but they're not the ones who will colonise it.
No,
One is there's not enough of them, but secondly, why are they going to want to move to a habitat where their money's worth fuck all when they, they're in
This
charge
is
on there?
True, isn't it?
this is why
You know,
we need space
Right,
elevators.
the other point about this, about moving 10,000 people into an anneal habitat in space, is simply not ready to do that. You remember that Biosphere 2 ultimately failed, that they could not make Biosphere 2 self-sustaining. And that's on Earth, and that was with far fewer people. So, you move 10,000 people into this, and you find that the environment doesn't work the way that you think it. So oxygen or water or something becomes completely depleted.
But that's not the way it would come. The point is, if you build the Lockheed space station, first of all, you put a few people and you feed them from Earth, food-wise, but they would be doing what the ISS is doing at the moment, growing all sorts of stuff up there to see what grows up there and what doesn't.
Yeah, but the ISS is not self-sustaining. You need this to be
But
self-sustaining.
if you start with the
ISS is moving towards self-sustaining. That is
start
the
with
long
something
term.
like the UN, like the Lockheed Moon place, and you grow enough food there to feed more people until you get that self-sustaining with the people that are there. Then you expand it, and that would be the way Island 1 would have to be built, something like that.
But that Lockheed thing there, that's a separate. That's a proposal for astronauts who will go and live in cislunar space, in deep space, to begin to practice to go on the journey to Mars. That's what that's about, Andy. So it's only going to have
But
a mini space station like Salyut.
But that doesn't matter what
ISS.
it doesn't matter what the main aim of the thing is. The point is that is where you could start this.
Yeah.
That,
I mean, I think we talk about space colonisation, right? I disagree with like Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. That's not it's hellish, the weather and all the rest. So you'd be better doing it this way in a space habitat rather than a planetary surface. Or the moon. One of the good things about the moon is there is no atmosphere on the moon. And that's why the moon would be a lot better for a colony than Mars would. The European Space Agency is talking about developing 3D printing, where robots would go to the moon and they would print, and this is revolutionary, to make the bits for a moon base,
they
which
already
could
use
evolve
3D
into a
printing.
moon colony, But a real
already
habitat.
use 3D printing
Right.
for rockets.
Aye.
A lot of the stuff that goes in.
I think what will happen is that it's evolution is going to happen for this. I don't think it's just going to suddenly, that governments, I don't see any governments coming up with the amount of money. I don't know how much it would actually cost.
But the
to
point
build
is that
a new
governments
one.
aren't the only players
Uh-huh.
now. You've got
Right.
some private
There's
companies.
private companies, yes, Eric Bigelow. So Eric Bigelow wants to do space hotels, which is a start in this
This is
direction.
why I
So an
started with
important
that, yeah.
start in this
Yeah.
direction, right? So, and on the Lunar Gateway outpost that NASA's talking about, Eric Bigelow may be involved in that by adding one of his inflatable modules or onto that
Yeah, he's
space
also
station.
talking about doing it on the moon. I
Yeah,
haven't got them on
I've
this.
seen pictures of a moon
Yeah.
base with inflatable, and that's not new. We've been talking about inflatable modules for moon bases since the 60s. The thing is, I can see something like these space colonies. I think they're amazing. I can see them happening, but I don't think it's going to happen in the short term.
It won't
I think it will evolve, Andy, and I just don't know who would. I mean, Elon Musk is interesting when he's proposing to colonise Mars. If he can pull that off, and there's enough people willing to pay, I mean, you think surely it would be cheaper to have a big space habitat rather than going to Mars. But how much would it cost to, what does O'Neill say about the cost, and how long would it take to build one of these big space hubs? I don't know.
Well, O'Neill reckoned it could be done in about 10 years.
10 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they will become self-sufficient.
He reckoned they were going to be built by the 1990s.
Right.
But
They
that
could
was
not. The thing is that on the ISS, we are moving to a semi-sustainability, right? So what we're doing at the moment now is that we are reprocessing urine and wastewater so that it's the water cycle, just like on the Earth. So you've got a closed loop water cycle, you've got a closed loop environment. Where we're behind at the moment is on the food production. You know,
We've got
That-
potatoes.
right, you know, that is but in an O'Neill space habitat, it
And
would
all
be
cabbages as
gigantic.
well.
Yes,
We've got cabbages.
in a space habitat, then you would have farming.
Yeah.
And
And that's
you would
why they're
have
doing experiments in the ISS.
super
for that,
crops. Though my only concern was the radiation in space. That might be a problem, you know, how you shield. But with the lack of gravity,
Well, there's a whole stack of stuff in here about
right,
shielding.
I need to be, I mean, I need to read
Radiation
that.
may not be the major problem you think for crops.
Uh-huh.
There's lots of plants are tolerant to radiation. You know, you still be able to grow food, and you very quickly eliminate the plants that won't live in that environment. Would be very quickly eliminated. So you'd soon be able to have plants that would live in that radiation, that would be capable in that radiation. But the trouble, you know, what's said about the Biosphere 2 thing is that things happen that we don't foresee. We're just at the beginning of learning
Yeah.
the complexity, like the Earth environment. What you're trying to do here is to make an environment that's like the Earth, that's stable, that is self-sustaining,
No, we have
produces
to.
its own water and oxygen.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're starting with very simple ideas to do that, but we're still a long way away from being able to do it. And the more people you have on a habitat, the more people you have to bring back to Earth when it goes wrong, and the more material that you need to take. If their food system fails, their oxygen system, their water system fails, if you've got 1,000 people in space, that is a lot of rocket flights to keep supplying it if they're not supplying themselves.
No, you don't do that. You don't put 1,000 people up there unless you've got means of supporting them first.
Yeah, but my point is you don't know how, you know, you could put 1,000, you could have 1,000 people up there in a self-sustaining environment for 10 years, and then one day that environment will flip and stop working, and then suddenly you have to ship stuff out to it again, or bring the people back.
Well, I think what you would have to do is build a smaller cylinder, one of these small ones that Jerry Stone. That Jerry Stone thing came from his talk in Aberdeen, which I didn't go to, but I got a copy of it.
I didn't know about it. Who was that?
Jerry was talking in Aberdeen in March.
To who? The Astronomy
to
Society.
Astronomy Society in
uh-huh.
Aberdeen, yeah.
I've given them talks in the last couple of
And,
years on space.
anyway, as I say, I got that info from him.
Right.
But the point is, if you have a small cylinder, that kind of thing, but not even that big, but just a cylinder to demonstrate the sort of,
In fact, it's doable.
yeah, and shielded so that people could indeed go in it, and with soil in it, and get your farming right. Put that in geosync or somewhere like that. First of all, get the farming right, then you build the bigger one over near the moon, and take it from there, and then you put people in. But in the first instance, the only people you put in are people that go up and down and live on Earth, in fact, but do the farming, if you get what I mean. But the question is, it would seem to me that you're not going to get anything happening by anybody unless you have a large group of people interested in making it happen. That's why I was thinking, if we put this YouTube around, we might get some supporters of the idea, and the more we can get, the more chance we'll be able to get the attention of the Elon Musks and Richard Bransons of this planet to do something about it. Or governments even, for that matter. But I think that's less likely, because governments really are more interested in what their voters want, and there aren't enough voters.
I don't know. President Truman was the first space president. People think it was JFK, was it? Hell, it was Truman. Truman had, in the 40s, a number of issues to deal with. He had Roosevelt to deal with.
Well, JFK wasn't interested in space.
No, but
Johnson.
yeah, I know that, but JFK is seen as a space president. JFK was the first president who was seen by the public to push space.
His real interest was re-election.
No, he wasn't. But it wasn't. It was Truman. And Truman had various space issues in his administration. One of them was UFOs and Roswell. But the other one that was in Omni magazine, I read this back in the 70s, it was quite interesting. The problem was at the end of the Second World War, refugees or population growth when they're looking into the future. And you had all these kind of Jewish people escaping the Nazis in Europe. You had other refugees from Poland or whatever from escaping.
Do we propose that the Syrian refugees?
Yeah, well, I'll just get into that. Well, actually, this is an omnibus serious. It's not,
Yeah.
you know, this is actually serious. What the Truman administration actually, it's absolutely something of science fiction, but what they actually proposed doing was they actually seriously talked about building a space colony on the moon or Mars. And these poor people were going to be shipped off to Mars, you know, because of what do we do about...
So you mean Israel could have been on the moon?
What we're doing about, you know, overpopulation, you know. And that's why we need a space program, because in the long term, you've got climate change, you've got overpopulation, you've got pollution, you've got all these, they could come at a time when the resources on this planet are going to run